Shenanigans.
You mean shenanigans?
Shenanigans. Evil shenanigans.
Shenanigans, right?
So, you were saying something about getting a new sponsor. What's this all about?
For the BMX racing, a lot of teams in town. I got a sponsor out of Eugene, Oregon. It's Hyper Body Armor.
Oh.
So the drink body armor that you see everywhere. They sponsor a team that's, I believe it's a national team, all the way around the United States. There's, teams everywhere. But we're on the Northwest team, and the frame sponsor is Hyper, which is it's a brand of bikes.
Yep.
That you
remember PK Ripper?
Yeah, that's SE. They're still around. PK Rippers are still sick. I actually have a variant of the PK Ripper. It's called SoCal Flyer. Same Floval oval tubing.
That was cutting edge back in my day.
Oh, they still are. I mean,
back in the 90s.
Their race bikes are, up there, just comparable as any other good race bike. And they also have like a lower line of bikes, entry level. And they make all kinds of cool different color combinations. And they're doing Marshawn Lynch, actually. They made a bike for him.
Tried to make it pretty beefy.
Yeah, it's one of the big. Actually, he has one called Beast Mode also.
That's
I think he
funny.
started on a big.
That's got to be Beast Mode. That's his bike. That makes sense.
29-inch wheels.
Oh yeah, well he's a big dude.
Built for big people. And
that's how they build motorcycles too.
Right.
When Jesse James is building them, I seen him build this little tiny bike for this girl, and then this monster for like Arnold or someone like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was huge. The two bikes together
looked identical, but it was like
the scale was off.
Yeah.
But he says it's for the weight and size of the guy riding.
Yeah, because it's hard to find a bike for a real big guy.
Well, I got a 26-inch free agent.
Oh, there you go. Awesome.
I have to show you before you leave.
A lot of people are going to bigger wheels now.
Well, I like the big wheels, but
a lot more forgiving.
I want a skinnier tire. These big old fat. I'm too fat to ride this bike. Like I had to put a fat people seat on it. Mm-hmm. You're not even supposed to sit down on these things, but it's a cruiser, so whatever.
Yeah, you're just rolling around.
It's
a
what do you call it bike? The ones you go in the
park bike.
Yeah, I don't know where you go through the pools and stuff like that.
Park bike.
Okay, yeah.
That's park riding's fun as hell too. I
just need to go get on that thing and ride it. But
it seriously helped me so much. Even after I got in that car accident, and the doctor was like, "Well, your back's never going to be the same. You don't want to do anything. Sit on your couch." And that made it worse.
That's how you die.
Yeah. I gained a bunch of weight, and I wasn't doing anything fun.
So let's back up a minute. Got in a car accident and hurt your back.
Yes. I guess herniated 2 discs and collapsed 2 discs. It was S1.
How old were you?
Maybe early 20s.
That's a rough time for that to happen. That's right in between.
Yeah, and my job was I did labor work at the plumbing company. I was running, shovel, excavator. I was running cable machines. I was an on-call drain technician for quite a few years, doing commercial and residential drains at 2 o'clock in the morning when Fred Meyer's whole store backs up. And you name it. Grandma dropped her dentures in the toilet. I've seen that twice. I've had to, pull the toilet out, remove grandma's dentures. You name it. I've seen when I was doing that on-call plumbing gig. You name it, I've ran into it.
Why don't you stay doing plumbing? I mean,
what's that?
Why don't you stay doing plumbing?
Working for family.
Yeah, well,
I
know that right now my son's looking at being an apprentice for electrical.
That'd be great.
Well, he was going to be a doctor.
Okay.
And so instead, here's the plan. He was going to be an RN, go to school. He's going to graduate high school, and now, because he didn't do the last semester of the college courses, he would be like 4 credits away. But he was going to be like a credit or so away from being a associate's degree when he graduated from high school. Or if he worked a little harder, I think he would have actually had it. But I wanted him to have a life.
Right.
Well, about a year ago, he says, I don't know that I want to go to school for the next 8 years. So go to school, get his bachelor's degree, and then go to the nursing program. That's 2-3 years out of your life that you just don't do anything.
Right.
You sleep, and you go do your thing. You sleep.
And nursing, the hours are just...
Well, when you first start, when you do your clinicals for like the last year or 6 months, it's basically, Hell Week in football.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. You work doubles. You work.
So I know what
you
that's
work. You work. And then when you get out, they give you a degree, and you get to be relieved, and you take a bar, and then now you're worth $40 an hour, and you can work wherever you want.
Right.
They have headhunters waiting for you to graduate. They offer you. if you are willing to move to Montana, we will give you $190,000 a year in this with insurance, and we'll move you for free, and we'll reimburse. Here's $3,000 for moving. Here's a reimbursement for the rest.
Goodness.
Yeah, so it's even worse for doctors and chiropractors and podiatrists and anyone else that does medical stuff.
Okay.
But in all this, you just have all this time. Now, you either get grants, you get student loans, which most people do, or you got to pay for it yourself. Well, he's doing the math and having a hard time getting it all paid for. Decides, well, my dad's a welder, and so he really likes the fact that my dad, at 76 years old, sold his business, moved away from everybody, still has people knocking on his door. Frank, I need you to fix this. I need you to, I don't care what it costs. So my dad's, I mean, he doesn't gouge people, but he charges quite a bit nowadays.
Right.
And people still, they won't leave him alone. So my son likes the fact that my dad has the freedom to basically not have a job, but still make more money than most people who do.
Right.
Yeah, that's seriously. So the fact that when you work with your hands, you'll never starve. This is something my dad always talked about. So he decided, all right, maybe that's what we should do. Maybe I should look into being an electrician. So he did a job shadow, and I talked to the guys at here locally. What was the name? Boggs.
Okay.
So those guys are great. And so they, talked to me about it. They talked to my wife when we were in Mod Pizza one day. The son was like, I should have done this right out of high school.
All right.
So he's like, let's do this. Well, I found out that they make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Like, I knew that they did pretty well. But my understanding is that as an apprentice, after the first 3 or 4 years of doing the, I mean, number one, they give you a job. All right, here, you have a job.
Yep.
Okay, great. Now you get
Half the battle.
a guaranteed job for the next 3 years. Then when you get your, certification, now they take you right up to it's like $70 a year. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, if he stays here with us and saves, I just said half his paycheck, he'll have like $70,000 by the time he has his journeyman.
Right.
Instead of owing $70,000, he'll be $70,000 ahead.
Totally. Plumbing's the same way.
That's what I'm saying. Why aren't you in plumbing?
The same way. They weren't offering it at the time because they had offered that company.
What about today?
Well, that's working for family.
How old are you?
31.
I'm 41. I literally considered becoming an electrician last year.
I'm going to do something. Ideally, I'd like to own a shop, do custom work, but I don't mind the regular repair and maintenance because it's easy to me. I enjoy it. But custom work's really fun.
Shenanigans. You mean shenanigans?
Shenanigans.
Evil shenanigans. Shenanigans, right?
Shenanigans.